Thanks everyone for joining. This is the Park Board meeting, January 26th. Oh, I have 2020 on the agenda. Clearly that's 2021. So I call the meeting to order, and we've got a quorum. All 4 members are present. First order of business, I'd like to approve, if someone can make a motion to approve the November meeting minutes. November was our last meeting. So those are the most current, up-to-date meeting notes that Anita had sent out. So if someone would like to.
I move to approve.
I'll second that. Oh. Okay, lots of talking at once, so I think I need to second that. So all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Janice, we'll move ahead to you. Nice to see you. So I've got you up on the early part of the agenda. If you'd like to give us your update, we'd love that. You're muted.
She should be able to unmute herself. If not, yeah, there we go.
I think unmuted now. Yes. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody. And thanks for having us. And thanks to Bev. I think she's on the call too. So she continues to tutor me. And
Janice, it's Anita Remages. I'm the secretary. And I just want to say thank you so much for sending the input. It helps tremendously to have it. So when you send things, I think we all appreciate it. So thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Well, we're excited to announce that we're doing an education initiative this year. And our goal is twofold. One is to provide grow and learn tours to the community. And we plan to do maybe about 2 or 3 of those this first year. And the second part of that goal is to provide opportunities for our master gardeners. We have 5 master gardeners in the Beach Garden Club, and we'd really like them to be able to contribute to the community and get their volunteer hours for their master gardening. So we are really excited about doing this, and we look forward to working with the board here to help us as we get these programs going. Well, like I said, we're looking at a couple of tours, maybe Memorial Day and Labor Day, and also looking at something that we could do with enrichment for the youth and maybe partner with the summer camp. So we haven't gotten all of the details yet, but we're working that out, and hope you'll be excited with us as we do this journey together. And thanks to Mary Beth for coming up with this idea, and I think it's going to be super for the community. The other thing that we'd like to talk about as we're looking at these tours is the infrastructure. So the paths, I know we talked about those late last year. Zach, we ran into you at the pavilion and we talked about it. So we wanted to know if there were any plans for updates to the paths this year, if that was going to be in the budget. As we learn that people walking side by side is nicer. It's great for moms with strollers, people walking hand in hand, and good passing lanes, and also just a great way for the community to have better accessibility throughout the park. And then the other things that we have going on is continuing our support of the areas that we have always done, either plantings, gardening, and weeding, and keeping things look nice. So the 4 areas. I have a question about the pump house bus stop is at 24 and where that fits in this year, or if that's expended. I haven't been to a couple of the town hall meetings, so not sure the status of that. And there's also there's a tree that's where it's near the tennis court. It's marked to be cut down, and there's a big vine growing around it. We'd like to have that tree with a remaining stump that's about 3 feet tall. Mary Beth would like to put a fairy garden there and design that within that tree stump. So it's another request that we have.
The tree's still there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The let's see, what else do we have? Sorry, I need to look at my notes. Make
Do you
sure
want
I
to take these
covered
one at a
everything.
time, or do you want to you want to go ahead and get it all out and then we
Yeah,
talk?
we'll get it all out and then we can discuss it. How's that?
Okay.
And then the other thing is talking about how we would promote our education outreach. So I know there's the Facebook page. We'll do all the legwork. I'm happy to work with you, Zach, on writing things up, but getting the word out about our tours will be something that we'd like to work hand in hand, and also about funding allocations for the coming year. And we're working on our budget yet, so we will do that, and I can come back next meeting and we can discuss in between next couple of weeks.
Awesome. I'll take a few off the plate right away.
Okay.
And everybody else chime in. So I'll just let Tom Dolph know to keep that tree stump. That's an easy fix. I think he's going to get rid of that tree himself. So I'll just let him know. So unless he does it before I'm able to get a hold of him tomorrow morning, I think your tree stump will stay.
Okay.
So
Thank
we'll
you.
tell him that. We do have on the agenda today to talk about the budget. So it's number 9 on our agenda. So I'll sort of
Fine. That's fine.
keep that in Joy's wheelhouse when we get to number 9 to talk about the garden clubs portion. And I would just throw out there that you guys are sort of part of are part of, whatever you want to say, of the park board, and we have an advertising budget. So any sort of community outreach and stuff that you guys want to do, we can use our funds to do a Beecher ad or an article. And I don't have the budget in front of me, Joy or Zach, but I want to say we have like $2,000 in there, and we may use it all up this year. We got some other stuff going on, but we definitely can. That's not something we would want you guys to pay out of your own pocket for or whatever. So there is an advertising budget that
We have 2,000 in it.
2,000. Okay. So we might eat some of that up because we have new signs and stuff coming out. So, but between your own Beecher or your own garden club budget and our advertising budget, there'll be a way to get that paid for outreach stuff that you're doing. And we'd be happy to share that on our Facebook. And I think,
so Janice, if you just, any information you want posted on Facebook, just send it to me and we'll go through it. I'll post it, no problem. And then the other thing with the Beecher, I've got a pretty good relationship with the editor now. And like the ice skating rink, I took a picture of that, sent it to him. He just put it out, as an article, like a small little blurb. So if we've just got something we want to do that's going to be good for the community and let everyone know, he may just throw a little spot out there for us.
Oh, great. Well, I'll be glad to write things up and make it easy and do all the legwork.
Okay.
So happy to work with you. Thank you.
awesome.
Do you have any idea on the paths? Did you take a calculation of how long or what the footage is of what you're looking to do?
No, I'll get back with the group. We've just been discussing this, so we'll go through all of those details.
So it's not anything new. It's just widen and fix existing blacktop paths that are going.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I'll chime in that kind of goes along with number 10 on our agenda, which is we had a request from a resident, sent me actually a video of a path like that in her daughter's town, or I'm not sure where the video came from, but let me just read you. I don't know if it matters. It's who it's from or whatnot, or if that's important, but just one of the residents had sent it. Okay, let me just read what she wrote. A path through LB Park would be nice for walkers, young children on their bikes, scooters, etc., and there is ample parking. It might even lower the number of walkers on Lakeshore Drive. I even thought some of the existing benches could be placed along the path. It is such a nice park, and it is unfortunate that it doesn't get more use. So it's ironic or good timing or whatever. Other people are thinking the same thing, and I think it's a good idea. It's probably pretty cost effective to just have, whatnot, clean up the path, like you said, widen it a little bit. Maybe we do something where it's a clear, one time around, 4 times around is a mile or whatever. I don't think we want to, not all that space is town property. Some of it you run into golf course property. So we just need to be careful of that and get their approval and stuff. But might be a nice idea to get people to wind in and out the gardens a little bit better, and should be fairly inexpensive, I would think. I mean, we could have somebody come and take a look. There's parts of that path start, stops, and stuff like that. But
Right.
This resident was thinking, toddlers and things like that, moms could just let the kids loop-de-loop around it, or people, instead of walking inside the community center, could now walk outside and, no 8 times around is 2 miles or something like that.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So that's kind of what you were thinking though too, right?
Right. Mhm.
Okay.
And eventually, maybe some little stops along the way with some wayfinding information or history points, but
Yeah.
that's all 5 years, 5-year plan, right?
Well, no, I like that idea. And I think there's so many nice benches, or, nice sitting centers or whatever. The benches right now are just kind of haphazardly placed. I think we could strategically place them, make it a little bit more interactive or whatever. So,
Sure.
I can look into that. I don't think it really needs a motion at this point. Just maybe send somebody out to see how much it would cost to widen the path or stuff like that. So, Joy, right? Do we need a motion to continue to explore this?
No.
Okay. I'll take on that and work with you, Janice. Whose doggy is that? Is that Roscoe?
No, that's Joyce.
Oh,
That's my house.
that
It's playtime.
Either that or Joy just got really angry about the budget.
It's Stella and Boo, they're playing.
I hear-
Can I just say, Kendra and Janice, that it's interesting because Zach and I were on a call where we were being interviewed by town council members, and one of the things they talked about was, how we can improve. What can we improve? And I had recently just chatted with a neighbor about the park, who spends quite a bit of time there with her 4 kids. And that was the very thing that we talked about: benches, planters, pathways, markers, boundaries, fun things for the kids. So it was something that I did bring up. So I'm thrilled to see even more information about it. So thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Awesome.
I think I just heard Anita volunteer to handle that one.
What? What?
I'm just kidding.
I know you are. But I will help Kendra and Janice if you need help.
I'll be glad to with all of you.
Well, I'll start the ball rolling and reach out to, I think I have an idea of kind of who to start with first, to just get a cost of, it's basically good, kind of a concrete job. It's kind of like tearing up a little bit of grass and a little bit of, whatever. And obviously we'll see what it might cost, and then we'll shoot it up through the building commission and get let them know and stuff, building permit type thing. Even though it's not really a structure, though, it's obvious we need to let them know that we might be changing sort of the footprint of the not the footprint, but something that's significant. But I think it'd be great. So we'll get going on that. Okay, now back to an order of the agenda, since I kind of was going out of order because of that. Well, are you done, Janice?
Yes, thank you very much. Any
Okay.
questions or comments?
No, thank you. Okay. Anita, any update for the record on the pickleball situation, courts?
Well, it's a good thing that, I kind of threw my name out there for something else, since pickleball is totally stalled. I did finally talk to somebody in Michiana. Zach had taken some photos of their pickleball courts, and I had reached out to the clerk, and she never got back to me. She's a neighbor. I dropped off 2 notes. I finally got an email from the treasurer who said their pickleball courts were by their tennis courts, converted to pickleball courts, and she doesn't know who the leader is. So I actually have also talked to John Anderson of Arndt Paving. He has the photos. He was going to go out there and investigate. So I believe I have Norm Brummer's information. I'm going to look through my notes for it and see if he knows who the leader of the pickleball is, because it's, when you mentioned concrete, Kendra, that was the big problem with putting something near the community center. But as Norm mentioned in our last meeting, he doesn't think that would be the best place for it because of the noise issue. So, you know, I feel like every month it's the same thing, but at least we, you know, I will reach out to Norm and ask him what he knows. And John Anderson said he will try and take a drive by there, and he'll make some calls and see if he knows somebody. So all I can do is keep reaching out.
Okay, I would suggest too, maybe try, I don't know who the Michiana Town Council members are. I think Richard Plisky's one. That's Amy Shin's dad. And I had reached out to him, and he put a call in to the clerk or whoever, and no one got back to him. But somebody on that board has got
Well,
to know.
their town voicemail box is full. I mean, I try, you know, I've checked in quite a bit, which is why I reached out to my neighbor and hoping that she would, at least with a handwritten note, get back to me. And I didn't hear from her, but I will try to see if there are emails or something for the council members. This was the treasurer. I reached out to the clerk, and I will try council members.
Cool. Just an idea. Yeah. I mean, he was receptive. He just didn't have the information, but somebody there's got to have it because they had to pay for it somehow. I'm sure that pickleball group did not pay for it out of their own pocket. So awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Zach, I'm going to turn this one over to you. This is just the update on the Totor removal and kind of what's going on with the carry in, carry out policy and what to do with beautifying sort of the areas that are left now where those toters have been pulled up.
So Tom was out. I saw him when he was doing it. So all the toters are officially removed from all the stops, and they went ahead and took the enclosures away. They did it in a pretty clean way, but if there was like big poles behind that were part of another wall or part of another structure, they left those there. So just simple things like cutting poles down to clean it up is all that really needs to be done. But then there's that space left. So I marked on the agenda here which stops have some extra space now. The ones that aren't marked are stops like 14, where they were sitting behind the parking pad anyway, 18 behind the parking pad. A lot of these stops are under construction, so it doesn't really matter right now. 28's are going to be under construction. So, you know, we don't really have to do anything anytime soon on this. So I just thought we would put it on the agenda, and then I'll put a post on Facebook and just say, in the next council meeting for John's update, that we're looking for input on what people may want to see in the spots where the enclosures were, maybe a bench, you know, place for strollers, whatever is needed. Each stop's got its own footprint.
Perfect.
So that was the only thing on that. Any questions on that for now? We said we'd put ads out in the Beecher in the spring just to remind people that they're not coming back. So we'll just wait for the weather to start looking better and improving, and maybe do like a multi-ad where we remind people they're not coming back and why, and then set a date for the beach cleanup in the same ad. And then I've got some drafts here that you guys, I've emailed them around, but I wanted to talk about them here in the public forum of the signs that we need to replace. So let me stop sharing what I'm showing and share a different screen. Okay, so you should be seeing now the new signs. You see this in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's just, I mean, simply the old sign. And then I've got two versions of it. So this first version is exactly, the first 7 rules are exactly the same as before, same verbiage, everything. And then I added this at the bottom as just a reminder. And then I added the graphics here, the carry in, carry out, which was from the ad that we put in the Beecher. So that should look familiar. And because I don't think this sign looks different enough than what we had before, I just thought it'd be good to, and I'll show you another version of the same sign here in a second, add another sign underneath it or somewhere where maybe where the toters used to be, or someplace very visible as a secondary, they'll recognize this sign as something new, and maybe they'll stop and read it, and then come summer, we remove it or what have you. But I'd make it out of the same material. It doesn't cost that much more. But this one just says, please bring all waste and recyclables home with you after enjoying the beach. Town of Long Beach is joining many state parks and beaches across the country. In the interest of waste awareness, trash bags for beach cleanup are available upon request, free upon request. Please use the email address below for bags. And this one below it, what did I do different on this one? I don't know if I did anything on this. Oh, I just changed. I think Anita had a suggestion to make the fewer words. So I just cleaned it up a little bit and put fewer words in there, thinking people may not stop and read them all. So this one's a little less wordy than the one above it. And on this rule version, the second rule version, I just combined these three rules. It's the same thing, but I just combined them. So I think the input, so I got input from all of you. I think most people liked this version of the rule sign. Any discussion on this at all? Anybody have any ideas, thoughts?
Well, now I kind of am changing my mind. I like version 2, where no glass containers, fireworks, dogs is in one sentence, and that will stay up forever. And then at the get-go, though, we do number 2 with the less wordy one on version 3 or 4 as well. And then, so number 2 with number 4, and then after a year or 6 months or whatever, we think take down number 4. And I will say, you've probably already talked to the reprographics people, but they hung them all for included price. I mean, it was cheap. It was like, I can't even remember the price, but so just know, like, they'll take the old ones down, remove the, put the new ones up. So adding this second carry out thing is no extra cost. I mean, maybe like $70 for all the signs maximum or something crazy.
That's really cheap. So, I mean, I went around and just installed all the little signs we put to please not overfill it took me all of 20 minutes to do that. So either way, we'll get it done. But anybody else, Anita, Joy, thoughts on these signs?
No, I think they're great, Zach, and I love your reasoning for the second one, that people might say, because they may tend to walk by the one saying, oh, I've seen that sign a gazillion times. So I love the idea of the second one. It gives them information on how to reach the park board. So thank you. I love the second sign too.
I could add that information on the park board to this sign too, which we didn't do before.
I wouldn't, because I don't think anyone's going to bring a pen and paper down there or take a photo, or it just gets
They'll all have their iPhone.
Well, true, gets a little too cluttered and that stuff. I think for the time being about the park board, the email for the trash, and then after a year or so we take it away, and then it just goes back to because I don't think we necessarily. That's just my opinion. I like number 2 with number 4. Get rid of number 4 after we think it's okay.
Okay. Joy, you good? Are your dogs good?
Yeah, I agree. The dogs are fine.
Okay. All right, 2 and 4 it is, and I'll go ahead and get all these made and get them up soon. Might as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's awesome of you, Zach. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's it for me on totor removal.
Okay.
And I've got no negative feedback. I mean, none from anybody via Facebook, emails. I mean, it's gone quiet. Doesn't mean people aren't still talking about it, but they're not talking to us. Or maybe they are. Anita, I know Anita's got a neighbor that wasn't happy about it, but good feedback so far or none, which is good.
Even my neighbor who's unhappy about it literally mentioned it about a week ago. And I said, again, we're simply implementing, and it will happen. And it's happened nationwide, statewide. And so that was the end of it. That was the end.
People get used to it just like all the other changes we made. It'll be fine.
They will.
All right.
Okay, so for number 6, we need to do some metal stairs for stop 20. I don't know how many people have been down to stop 20, but we have replaced those stairs 3 times, twice for sure, maybe even 3 times. I think 3 times. So it is a precarious situation of how that stop is laid out, but Dave's decks additionally did the first one when we redid the stops. It was beautiful. It got washed away. Dave did it again. It got washed away. Tom found a contractor who had free time. He did it. So we have probably spent, I'd have to look up, $7,000. I don't know. No, probably not that much, but whatever. And they're washed away again. They're completely rickety right now. They might even be gone today. So anyway, I have a quote and a drawing from BMF Metal Works, who has done a phenomenal job. I think they've done great work at 26, 30, 22. And so I would like to make a motion to get that plan. The cost on the stairs would be $10,000. And it's shocking or whatever, but it's in line with the other quotes and stuff. And of course, still look for other quotes. I'm saying it's in line with how much the metal stairs cost. But once they're in, they're in. I mean, those stairs at 22 are 75 years old. All we had to do was we made some adjustments to be up to code, bring them out a little bit, maybe add a handrail, and that was just done recently. And those stairs have been there since my 75-year-old neighbor was a kid. I have a picture of her as a baby going down the stairs. So it's well worth the money. There's no other option. I mean, every stop is going to have metal stairs when it starts to hit the water. And so if you guys aren't familiar with 20, the way it is, you go down a little path, and then there's kind of like a concrete breakout, and the wood path goes across it, and then you immediately hit revetment that's been there, the big boulders, since the 80s or 70s. I don't know how long that is. And we've tried to build stairs over that, which before the lake levels got so high, it worked okay. But the past 2 years, we've replaced them 3 times. And right now, they're completely unsafe and hanging on. So it's definitely a necessity. I mean, Joy, with our budget situation, we definitely have room for improvements. And I know, I'm torn. There's some stops who have absolutely no access at all and no beach rehab, and stop 20 is beautiful, but there's just no choice but to do the metal stairs, in my opinion. And once they're in, and I don't think we'll have a problem. So I'd like to entertain a motion to get the building permit over to the building commission and get that going for stop 20.
Well, before we go further in your motion, Joy, can you confirm that we've got adequate budget for stop improvements for 2021? And
We've got $75,000 in that bucket for 2021.
And we were going to do 28 was on the list, but 28 is going to get done by a combination of homeowner and I think just homeowner, right?
Yes, that's my understanding.
So that's going to get done. 30 is done, and 30 is doing really well with the metal stairs. By the way, the sand is all the way to the top stair, and we've had freezes with the sand, and it's holding up great. And Duneland has come to me asking about our stairs because they want to do what we're doing up and down Duneland as well. So it's been working perfectly and popular, I guess, with other residents. But
28 is only going to be done at the bottom.
Only going to be done at the bottom?
Yeah, by the other homeowner, I believe. They're not going to redo the stop.
My understanding was that because they were going to take the whole stop out to get equipment down to the beach, they were going to replace the whole stop.
Okay, I'll verify that at the next building commission meeting.
Because the cost of doing that was far, far less than them having to go around it some other way.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot right next to the stop, not really the stop lot.
Okay.
So I'll verify with the building commission. Or maybe John knows, he's on the building commission.
You're muted, John.
Okay, maybe John doesn't know.
I thought they were gonna replace the whole stop myself, but yeah, get it, I think we better confirm that, Joy.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because, yeah. if
I find it hard to
if they had
believe
tear
they
out
would
the
offer to do that.
whole stop to get the equipment down there, they ought to pay for it to replace it, I would think.
Yeah, let me verify that and I'll get back to the park board after the building commission meeting.
I think budget wise, I mean, we've been able to do a lot of good work at the stops for, well, before the metal stairs were a component, which now they're an extremely important component, which changes the game. But we started this project way before the lake was the situation it is. So we were able to do stop 23 or something like that, I think, for a total of 16,000 total. But obviously that was when we didn't have the lake levels as high. So now the cost of redoing these stops is going to increase because we know how important it is to have the metal stairs. But my point being is that like stop 21 to Zach's point, 28, 23, a lot of that other work is kind of the groundwork's being laid by Woodruff, and they're going to cut some stairs into it. So I think it's in a way going to be a little bit of a wash. Like some stops, the Woodruff is going to put in the stairs for us or whatever that may look like. And we literally only have to do some benches and decking and stuff up top. So I think the money for metal stairs, access to, as much as I love how we've beautified all the stops and stuff, I think the priority over even beautifying it is actual access to the beach. That's what we all care about and people care about. So I don't care how nice it looks up top. If they can't actually get down to the beach without hurting themselves, it does no good. So I'm, inclined to kind of prioritize the metal stairs, or at least that kind of thinking. I'd rather spend money to make sure things stay and people can actually put their feet in the sand versus, making sure there's a nice bench up top or whatever.
Yeah, I totally agree. Stops are at a premium right now. 20 is a very popular stop. I make a motion that we proceed with the work as quoted by Kendra's, by BMF, and then we have to just verify that we are gonna get that building permit. There's a handrail issue possibly at the bottom that we may have to have, but it won't add any kind of significant cost to it.
Okay.
They've been quoting us separately for the paint job, Kendra, so we just want to make sure that we do the paint job as well as the stairs.
Okay, I'll look at that. He might have written on there if he did or didn't. I'll make sure it's included. But okay, I make a second.
Kendra, it's Anita. John Wall said that it was his understanding, although he hasn't been down there for a while, that the homeowner is paying for and replacing the entire stop and stairway at stop 28. But again, he stressed he hasn't been down there for a while, and that's his recollection and his understanding. So if Joy confirms that, that'll be great.
All right, we'll let Joy confirm that. Thank you. And then, so I second Zach's motion. So all in favor to move ahead with the building permit for the stairs at stop 20?
Aye.
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 That's
Okay.
everybody.
I'll fill that out and get that over to them with the details. Number 7, simple. We kind of all just touched on this. The rehab of 21, 23, even 28 still somewhat ongoing, on hold until the structural stuff from the engineers is finished. So nothing yet to do there. 21 looks about completed, but not yet. So that's still kind of on the agenda when that's done. Number 8, Joy, I know we got the report back from the cottonwood trees at stop 16, if you want to speak to that, and we've got that report we can keep on file. But
Yes, I copied everyone on the board on that report, and as well as the clerk's office. So if any residents would like to see the report, they can get it from Bill. So we asked for a written report besides just them trimming the trees and inspecting the cables. All that was done. Everything looks good. They had a couple of recommendations. One, they would recommend an annual or semi-annual inspection on the trees. I think annual is plenty, if you ask me. And also, if there's any really significant wind event, and there's damage to those trees, they would like to look at it right away before anything is cleaned up. And their other suggestion was in the wintertime, we should really leave all of the leaf litter there because they have such shallow roots that when the roots get exposed, it's really hard on the trees. So from the fall to the spring, through the spring, we should leave the leaf litter and not clean it up until the spring.
Yeah, great. That's good information they had. I would have never have thought that.
It sounds like that would be a good plan for all dune trees, according to the arborist. But, those winds off the lake are really brutal. I don't even know if leaves stay there.
Yeah, well, probably better than completely, giving
Yeah,
it.
but I don't think we should blow them away until the spring.
Yeah, okay.
Is that a question that Janice can take to the master gardeners and to the club?
That's really just landscaping gardener kind of issues, I think, for the town.
Well, I understand it is, but we know what to do with the cottonwoods, but, that's what I'm saying. Do we need to, who's going to tell the town, leave all the leaves and leave them where?
Well, Tom hasn't been doing, I'll let Tom know, but it's really not usually Tom. It's, I've been coordinating that with Healy. He's been doing all the stop cleanups. All the Tom and the guys do are mowing because Healy doesn't do any mowing. And Tom, of course, jumps in whenever needed, but mulching and weeding and all that stuff has either been me coordinating with Cardenas or Healy. So I'll let them know.
So you'll get in touch with everybody and let them know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I have a question about the report, the arborist report. You said Bill, do you mean the clerk, Bill DeFuniak?
Yes.
So is that something that somebody wouldn't come to the park board and ask about a report? It's something that we outsource to the clerk's office because there's a binder, or what's the reason?
We don't keep any records, the park board. All records are kept at the clerk's office. So they'll put it in a file and keep it there in case the public wants it.
Okay, so somebody could reach out to the park board, but then we would send them there to find the binder.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just about done. The last thing, Joy, if you want to touch on, just refresh us where we are with the budget for 2021. And then number 10 on my agenda, that walking path, we've already talked about that. So Joy, if you want to close us off with just a refresher, since we haven't met since November, I don't quite remember where we're at with our budget. If we're approved, we're ready to go, or we need to do anything with it?
We're approved. We get approved usually in October, November. We were approved for $164,000. Assuming we're going to have our park program again, that takes up, just our wages for our park program takes up about $30,000. And then there's things like maintenance supplies. The garden club has their usual $2,000. So the buckets we really have to think about are the improvements bucket, that's $75,000. We have $10,000 in the repairs bucket, and we have $20,000 in the gardener landscaping bucket, which would be Healy. So those are the three main ones we have to keep an eye on.
How much in the landscape budget?
20,000.
Okay. That is a super important one, just for all of us to remember that we have committed to save the dunes, and part of the coastal grant, or whatever the official name of Stop 24 is, we're responsible for maintaining the plantings and things like that once they're in. So that was part of the grant, in which we have no problem doing, but we just need to make sure that we allot for that.
Okay.
That's it. Okay. Any other public comment? Or
There's not very many people here, so I'm just gonna unmute people.
I'm assuming not.
I had a question about the 100th anniversary of Long Beach. Is the Park District going to do anything? Is that a consideration? Or is that more of the town?
I think that would be a town council, town issue.
All right, thank you.
Can we give that to Councilman Coker to look into?
I think Civic is volunteering to do something on this. I know the council has brought that up at a meeting a month or so ago, and I want to thank the Civic Association is planning some things, but
Could
I'll
you
check.
verify that for the park board?
pardon me?
Can you verify that for the park
Yeah,
board?
I'll
for the
find out.
meeting?
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. I make a motion to adjourn then.
Let's make sure no one else is trying to unmute.
I'll second.
Okay. Yeah, I'll second too. All
Okay.
third.
All right, good. All in favor? Aye. See you guys.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.